Did the U.S. just make its biggest trade mistake? Canada's unexpected counterattack in the quiet morning, as markets begin to open as usual and politicians exchange routine handshakes. Something unexpected is happening. Canada is making a move that the United States never thought they'd dare to make. It isn't loud, but it is deliberate, calculated. It's strategic, the kind of move that doesn't just disrupt trade agreements, but shakes the foundation of economic stability itself. This isn't just about tariffs or trade policies. This is about power plays, billion-dollar industries, and political egos colliding on an international stage for decades. The United States has called the shots, dictating the terms of trade with its northern neighbor, assuming Canada would always play along. But this time, something is different. This time, Canada is pushing back, and what's coming next? It's about to get brutal. The spark that lit the fire all starts with a sudden announcement of 25% tariff on Canadian goods. No warning, no negotiation, just a decree from Washington that immediately sends shockwaves across industries. The U.S. frames it as a matter of national security, claiming the move is meant to correct trade imbalances and protect American jobs. The same reasoning they've used before, the same playbook. But anyone paying attention knows this isn't about security, it's about control. Tariffs aren't just numbers on a government document. They are economic weapons. They may not make a loud noise when they hit, but their damage runs deep, cutting into industries, profits, and ultimately people's livelihoods, and the stakes, they couldn't be higher. Every year, roughly $300 billion worth of goods cross the U.S.-Canada border. That includes cars, steel, aluminum, and even basic groceries. When Washington drops its economic hammer, it's not just business owners who feel the impact, it's workers, families, entire communities. For Canada, this is personal. Jobs are on the line. Entire industries are under threat. But here's what the U.S. didn't see coming. Canada isn't going to beg. Canada's unexpected counterattack while Washington is busy celebrating its so-called strong stance. Assuming Canada will come to the table pleading for relief, something entirely different is happening. Canada isn't backing down. Instead, they are planning their own counterattack, one that is just as strategic as it is ruthless. The U.S. might have expected Canada to negotiate, to find a compromise. What they didn't expect was a full-scale economic retaliation, and Canada knows exactly where to hit. Instead of randomly slapping tariffs on American products, Canada targets key industries, ones that will create maximum pressure on American politicians and businesses. American bourbon, Tariff Ed. Florida orange juice, Tariff Ed. Electric vehicles, especially Tesla. Direct hit. Why these industries? Because they are pressure points. Bourbon tariffs hit Kentucky, the home state of Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell. Orange juice tariffs hit Florida, a key election battleground state where economic disruptions could shift political loyalties. And Tesla, that's not just a company, it's a symbol of America's technological dominance. By striking at Tesla, Canada isn't just affecting a single business. They're challenging the very notion of American innovation. This isn't just about retaliation. It's a message. Canada knows where it hurts, and they're not afraid to press down. The ripple effect. Tesla takes a hit. Jetting Tesla isn't just about disrupting Elon Musk's company, it's about cutting into the core of the American electric vehicle industry. Tesla relies on critical minerals that Canada controls: nickel, lithium, aluminum, all essential components in battery production. And now, Canada is holding the faucet. The impact is immediate. Higher material costs mean higher car prices. Sales slow. Investors get nervous. The stock market starts to feel the heat. Meanwhile, competitors China, European automakers are watching from the sidelines, waiting for their opportunity to take a larger share of the global EV market while the U.S. stumbles. But Tesla is just one part of a much bigger problem. The entire North American auto industry is now caught in the blast zone. The collapsing supply chain, what most people don't realize is how deeply intertwined the U.S.-Canada auto supply chain is. A single car part might cross the U.S.-Canada border up to 8 times before the final vehicle is complete. Factories in Detroit, Ontario, and Mexico don't compete with each other. They work together in a tightly connected system. By placing tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, Washington assumes they're protecting American jobs. But in reality, they're doing the opposite. Now, parts are more expensive. Factories slow down. Jobs start disappearing, not just in Canada, but in Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, states that rely on these industries to survive. Canada knows how fragile the system is, and while Washington thinks it's flexing its power, in reality, it's punching itself in the face. The economic fallout hits home. This trade war isn't just a fight between governments and corporations. It's hitting small towns, the very places where people depend on these industries to put food on the table. Picture a small manufacturing town in Ohio or Alberta. The local economy depends on a single factory that produces car parts. That factory now faces higher costs due to tariffs. The company lays off workers to survive. Families struggle to pay rent. Local businesses lose customers. The entire town suffers. And here's the worst part. The people paying the price had nothing to do with starting this trade war, yet they are the ones feeling the pain. Meanwhile, the politicians who launched this economic conflict, they're still collecting their paychecks, completely insulated from the chaos they've created. Canada's secret weapon, energy. While the U.S. focuses on steel and auto parts, Canada is sitting on an even bigger bargaining chip: energy. The U.S. relies heavily on Canadian oil, natural gas, and electricity. If Canada wants to, they could turn off the tap. Imagine gas prices doubling overnight, power shortages in northern U.S. states during the harsh winter months, inflation skyrocketing. Canada hasn't played this card yet, but the mere threat of it is enough to send chills through Washington, because energy isn't just about money, it's about survival. Supply chains unravel and there's no quick fix at first. Disruptions seem like bad luck: a few missing shipments here, a slight delay there. But then, it keeps happening. Auto factories pause production because they're missing a single $5 component. Tech companies struggle to secure critical materials for their products. Even grocery stores begin to see empty shelves where common items used to be. Global supply chains are not built for chaos. They're designed to be lean, fast, and efficient. But tariffs introduce instability, and once the system starts breaking down, it's nearly impossible to fix quickly. Washington thought they were pressuring Canada. Instead, they pulled the first thread in. Now, the entire system is unraveling. The political time bomb, what started as an economic fight, is now turning into a political disaster. In Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau presents this as a battle for national pride. In the U.S., however, the narrative is collapsing. Some politicians double down, insisting the pain is temporary and the long-term benefits will be worth it. Others, they're backpedaling fast, realizing that angry voters don't care about political spin, they care about their jobs, their families, and their future. And when voters are angry, they show up at the polls. Canada's long game. While the U.S. scrambles to contain the damage, Canada is forging new alliances, strengthening trade deals with Europe, expanding economic ties with Asia, looking for partners that don't rely on Washington. Because Canada understands something that the U.S. didn't expect. You don't need to win every battle to win the war. You just need to outlast your opponent. And right now, Canada is playing the long game.